Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last great Coliseum. That's right, it's Bristol, baby, and we are here for 88 miles of some absolute fun. 175 laps ahead of us, and I can hear the cars are on pit lane, so it sounds like we're about to get ready for a pit party. To have a look at how the order sits at the moment. Kyle McCoy sitting on the top step at the moment with a 15.391 in practice. Jonas Marquez just behind him there with .024. In fact, the entire top nine less than a tenth of a second as we go over the page. There's Nate in the 29 car. He's .110. Watson, Pape, Pentacuff, Elliott, Macias, Salama, and Campbell. I think Elliott is a new person to our league. He is Greg Elliott in the '07. He's an A-class 3.56 safety rating with a 35.54 I rating. So that's going to be interesting for him, the newcomer to our league. As it looks like cars are starting to get organized to roll out onto the track for the pit party. It's like only a few of them here at the front. Everyone's got to catch up. Front row, a couple of yellow cars there. 17 of Christian Budd, the 9 of Joe Slama. They're coming out of turn 4. They should be going this time. Oh, and there's a little bit of wheel spin and a little bit of a bump. The anticipation of the race start got them. Well, there's contact there in the back. I think that was Jonas and Pizzacami, the Marquez and Pizzacami that got into it side by side. '21, Thad Baylor getting up into the fence there a little bit. Now, people think that Bristol is a true oval, but the truth is it's a little bit egg-shaped. Turns 1 and 2 being a little bit tighter than 3 and 4. Not by much, but just enough. As Jonas Marquez goes for a slide into the fence. These guys are going to be dealing with all kinds of looseness coming off these corners, especially after a few laps. There's Kyle McCoy in the 16. He's on the inside. 77 of Avery McDonald. But it will be an interesting race. Bristol always one that throws a few curveballs. As I saw, Loose was that coming out of turn 4. It's not very likely we're going to see green flag stops around here. There's a lot of people struggling with the Loose. Christian Budd has gone up to the top of the timetables. Brian Pizzicami's jumped up to 3rd. Jonah still holding on to a really solid 4th there. Logan McAnally sitting in 5th. Austin Collins has joined the fray. Currently 19 cars on the track. 35-17 strength of field. Looks like we're still missing a couple. Oh, big slide there. That's the 05 Scott Rickard. I'm not seeing Thomas Harmon out on the track. Don't see him in my list either. Obviously, Jonathan Hernandez is still out for the foreseeable future. No Andrew Griesbaum yet either. Oh, that was the 07 at Elliott. Stopped in the middle of the corner. And what I assume was a 1-car accident turned into a 4-car accident very quickly. Oh, McCoy. Just 0.089 of a second from Christian Budd. They're the only two within a 10th of a second. Brian Pizzicami in 3rd. 0.102 back from the time set there by Christian Budd. Surprised Tristan Help hasn't made some bigger inroads. He's 0.121 back. Although by the standings here on the screen, it's 120. And around goes Jonas. No one collected him though, which is good, but he is definitely stuck down the wrong pit lane there. Time ticking down here very quickly though. These guys are going to have to get all the practice they can. If I was them, I'd probably do another pit party just because the chance of a caution around Bristol is very high. We all remember way back in the first broadcasted truck season, the massive pile-up we had coming out of turn 2. Took over a lap for it to clear up. Less than 5 minutes left in the session. That's still worth quite a few laps. Within doing just over 15 seconds, it takes just under, sorry, just over a minute to do 4 laps. So it's just under 4 laps per minute. As around there, that is Nate in the 29 car. Going for a Pennzoil oil paint scheme this week. There's a 15 of Ken Campbell. He's found the inside wall. He's not looking too crash hot on his lap times at the moment either. Down there in the 18th position. The last of the cars who have set laps. There is Thad Failer in the 21. The golden Christian Bud Killer car. He gets underneath of Tristan Help. He must have much better tyres on this machine. See, Tristan, he's got 11 lap tyres. Thad, actually no, Thad has older tyres. That's just how good the inside line is. There's about 8 laps left to go for these guys. Almost a little bit of a bump and run there on the back of Joe Slammer from Ken Campbell. If you don't bump and run at Bristol when the cars are bottom dominant, are you really racing at Bristol? Well, I think with this, it is just about time for us to go to commercial break. And that means that it's almost time for these guys to start getting ready for qualifying. To make sure I hit the button too soon. But make sure you guys stay tuned. Qualifying action coming right up. And when we come back, we will start the Gladiator 88. Welcome back to the Bristol Motor Speedway. Qualifying is complete, and it is time for us to start going through our starting order here for the Gladiator 88. And on the pole, to the surprise of literally no one, once the graphic starts coming up, there it is, the 17 of Christian Budd. On his outside, league newcomer, the 07 of Greg Elliott. Starting out of the third position, we're going to have Tristan Help in a 99, and out of fourth, we'll have the 9 of Joe Slammer. P5 will be the 16 of Kyle McCoy. P6, the 39 of James Watson. P7, he came in late, but he is here. It is the 68 of Andrew Griesbaum. With P8, the 5 of Mark Pentacuff. P9 and the first to not qualify will be the 15 of Ken Campbell. With P10, the 05 of Scott Rickard. P11 will have Nate Amoit in the 29 car, with P12 the 74 of Austin Collins. P13 we have the 1 of Logan McAnally, with P14 the 13 of Travis Massia. P15 it is the 8 of Matt Horton Here's a Who, with P16 the 21 of Thad Faylor. P17 is going to be the 77 of Avery McDonald, with P18 the 6 of Mitch Pape. P19 has the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi, and P20 will be the 00 of Jonas Marquez. So that is your starters and drivers for tonight's racing here at the Bristol Motor Speedway for the Gladiator 88. As always, I am your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and it is exciting to be here for what is sure to be a great league race here for the Output Racing League. Like, we're just waiting on Elliott to reach the track. There he is, and we will start pacing here in just a moment. Bristol Motor Speedway, just a little bit under a half mile exactly. World's fastest half mile. Pit speed 35 miles an hour, and we've opted for dual pit roads in this one, no single pit road. So the cars, when they pit, will enter off of turn 4. ...175 laps, 88 miles. Pace speed is 40 miles an hour. The first start will be on green. All the restarts will be on the leader inside of the Echo Park restart zone, right here, where the green wall is. And the leader will have lane choice on the restarts. In fact, the leader has the lane choice on the initial start here too, and it looks like Christian Budd is opting to start on the inside. Don't want to give up that inside lane advantage when you have to wait for green. But when you can control the restarts, that's where you can start getting fancy with it. Now it's time to kick some tires and burn some fires, as we are off and racing. And immediately Christian Budd straight into the lead. Tristan Help looking to get up the inside of Elliott to take over second immediately. Fighting hard down there, and it looks like the 07 is actually going to take the advantage and maintain P2 over to the 99 machine. Greg Elliott will hold on to second. Start looking through the field. We're going to start seeing people getting loose early as the tires try to grip onto the track. There's not much rubber laid down with the low numbers we've got here tonight. 20 cars in the field with a 35-38 strength of field. The hardest thing is going to be trying to make the moves stick. Most people running the bottom. Maybe with a little bit of a diamond line looking from the 13 there, Travis Massia. There is Ken Campbell in the 15. He went around the outside of Andrew Griesbaum. And it looks like the 29 of Nader Moit is going to try to do the same thing. And he does so. So you can make passes here in that middle lane. Looks like the outside line might not be preferable as Mark Pentecoff starts falling down the order ever so slightly. But the two leaders of Bud and Elliott are just absolutely pulled away from the rest of the field. These two already have 2 seconds back to Tristan Health in third. Don't know what planet this Greg Elliott came from, but he's keeping up with the alien right now. They're called Christian Bud. Go back to focusing anywhere and everywhere. There's Andrew Griesbaum in the 68. He's currently trying to hold off the one of Logan McAnally. And that is no mean feat. And here goes the 00 of Jonas Marquez around the outside of Logan. Saw in the background there the 74 of Austin Collins making some inroads as well. Jonas using the extra momentum with the outside line. He did hit the wall there though. That could hurt his car for later on. He's got to be careful of it. Not easy to make overtakes around here. But when you can get them, they're an absolute premium. And you don't want to sit on the outside line for too long. You'll burn up your right front, then you'll have nothing to fight with in the corners. We're already 15 laps into this race. A bit of a gap starting to form between our front two runners though. It's almost out to half a second between Bud and Elliott. Jonas right up high once more, getting all that momentum. McAnally trying to get back up the inside of him, but it's hard with the momentum that Jonas carries out of the corner. Still a massive battle here between those two. Mark Pentecoff, like he was trying to go for a move on Scott Rickard there for a second. I didn't have that one on my bingo card. Ooh, close quarters between McAnally and Marquez. It looks like Marquez starting to struggle on that higher line, and that's allowed McAnally back through. Got to try and save his tyre a little bit here, cool them down on the inside line. Try and hold off the charge from the 74 of Austin Collins. Here comes the 78 of Brian Pizzicami behind him, though, trying to get around the 13 of Travis Massia. And he will do so with that momentum coming off of turn 4. Almost contact between McDonald and Massia. Massia, obviously the sponsor for tonight's event. Long-time sponsor with the Gladiator branding. I'm surprised he hasn't got anyone to make him a Gladiator sponsored car, as the 74 and the 78 both make it around the 00 car. Double Jonas Marquez is also a story rider. I forgot what he's called for a minute. But he does write short stories. He has a couple of books out. He's also a long-time competitor here in the Output Racing League, as the gap between our first and second place cars has just reached a second. It looks like the 74 of Austin Collins starting to look a little bit unsettled there on the outside line. He's still going to make it around the 5 of Mark Pentacuff. Ooh, almost contact there between Pizzicami and Pentacuff. I think Mark got a little bit loose. Brian just about had nowhere to go. Pizzicami trying to get up the inside. Now Mark looking a little bit unsettled with the slightly outside line. Pizzicami will now make that move on the inside line, as the shadows of the cloudy day start to descend across the speedway. And that is now officially Pizzicami up into 13th. I'm surprised that we actually haven't had a caution yet. Normally, when it comes to racing here at Bristol, we get an early caution, and then they race it out from there. But I'm glad to see that there hasn't been any. We might actually see some green flag stops out of these guys. These cars are so on edge. I think everyone's driving super careful. And I don't blame them one iota of a bit. The laps very quickly winding down. We're already 35 laps into this race. If we keep up this pace, there's only going to be about 37 minutes of racing left, which is crazy considering the amount of laps we're doing. But I do believe we might have a battle for second here shortly, as Tristan Health is caught right up to the back of Greg Elliott. Greg, who was keeping up with our resident alien and Christian Budd for a few laps there, has fallen off the pace incredibly. I think he's burned up his tyres trying to keep up with Christian's pace. Christian Budd, who was a multiple-time Winstell champion. And had a crack at going to the Road to Pro last season. Had a little bit of bad luck and fell a little bit short. But Christian also just about into lap traffic now. Big bunch of cars in front of him. That's Pape, Baylor and Massia. Go back to focusing on crashes real quick, and we're going to stick with this pack just in front of him. Avery McDonald and Mark Pentacup are in this group as well, as Pape got a little shot and around right in front of our leader. The 21th had failed. Oh no. Tristan just got absolutely pounded by the 16. Anarchy here in our first caution. Now let's slow this down and see what happened coming into the corner. So Mitch Pape looks like he slowed up a lot more than what he did, and that caused 21 Failor to hit the brakes hard. Unfortunately, the 13 Massia nowhere to go. The 17 Christian Budd nowhere to go. Now what happened to Tristan here? Tristan comes into it. He sees them both. He starts going low because he sees the 13 going low. Unfortunately, Kyle had the same idea, but he didn't see why. And he got right into the back of Tristan. And unfortunately, that broke the right front off of the 16 machine. A lot of damage there at the start of this one. Tristan stayed out for a lap. He's going to bring it back down the pit road this time. Christian Budd still leading the way from Greg Elliott. Travis Massieu is a lap down. We've got Kyle McCoy, who is a lap down still in the pits. He's going to go more than that down though. Thad Failor is a lap down. No Lucky Dog because they weren't a lap down before the caution. Yeah, they only became a lap down because of the caution. So here we go for the restart now. And we're off and racing. Thundering down to turns 1 and 2 once more. Christian Budd immediately back out into the lead. Has already pulled 0.3 of a second. Everyone jostling for position, trying to get down to the low lane. Almost, yeah, everyone pitted under that caution, which I expected. Almost 50 laps on those tyres. You had to come in and get some freshies. Ryan Pizzacami trying to make his way through the field. Oh, and around. That's the 05 of Scott Rickard. Oh, and that's big damage. Another big stack up. Looks like the 21, Thad Baylor involved again. And the 6 of Mitch Pape. So let's see what unfolded here real quick. As we go back. He was in the pit for a while there, apparently. Oh, that's because he wasn't involved. I'm an idiot. But we're not going to see the replay of that. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, more racing action will be coming up very shortly. welcome back to the Gladiator 88, and we found it. Here's the 05 Scott Rickard, and it looks like he just drifted a little bit high and hit the brakes extra hard so he wouldn't get into the side of the 74 of Austin Collins, and that's what caused that. Still don't know what happened to the other guys in that incident, but we're about to go green. And it looks like Kyle McCoy is OUT out of this race. The pace car is in. Christian Budd has once more chosen the inside line. And we're off and racing. And just look at the lead he gets as he comes down out of turn number 2. There's such a gap on him when you have the advantage of choosing where you restart in the box. But you know what they say, cautions breed cautions. And that caution was definitely bred from the previous caution. I'm not sure if these guys are good to the end on fuel now or not. I would assume that they would be pretty close to making it. But there's a little bit of smoke. I can't tell what that smoke is from. Probably someone getting a little bit loose. They make their way down through turns 3 and 4, back across the start-finish straight. 59 laps complete. Sorry, 58 laps complete. 59 next time by. As the 8 of Horton on the back to 74 of Austin Collins. Collins is not going to make it easy for Horton to overtake him. Horton's going to have to think outside the box. He does so. He's straight around the outside. Changed lane in the middle of the corner to do that, by mind you. Mark Pentecoff is looking pretty good there on the outside lane as well. See if he can hold on to his tyres a little bit longer in this run, because he has a little bit of pace in these cars around here by the looks of things. Just whether he can keep those tyres under him is going to be the question, as he makes the move stick on the outside of Austin Collins. Collins might have a little bit of lingering damage. Also, I don't think we will see the 05 of Scott Rickard back in the race. This engine was pouring out a lot of smoke. Tristan Health trying to get to the inside of Pentecoff. Almost contact as they came out of turn 4. And it looks like we have someone else trying to stick with the alien now. There's a 29, Nate Moit, on the back of Christian Budd. And we know Nate has a lot of pace in this 29 car. As Slammer and Marquez are battling out, so too is Pentecoff and Health. Like Health has made that move stick now. To the inside. Battle between Slammer and Marquez has not finished yet though, as Marquez is trying to use all the momentum of the outside line. Slammer being on the bottom like this though, he's saving his tyres compared to Marquez. Marquez with that extra momentum is pushing his right front tyre more into the track and making it burn up more, so he'll lose grip sooner than what the 9 car will. As the 8 of Matt Horton trying to buy into this battle as well. A little bit loose. Was the 78 of Pizzicami. As Slama successfully defends his position. Now Pizzicami going to look to the outside of Marquez. Oh, a big slide coming out of turn 2. That's not going to help him get that move stuck. He gets that little bit of overlap now. Uses the momentum. And it looks like coming out of turn 2, he's going to make that move stick. That was Marquez going for the move on Slama, not being able to get it made. And then Pizzicami taking advantage and making the move stick for himself. As Horton had a big mistake there coming out of turn 2. He was shaping up the move on Marquez as well. Now he's under attack from Ken Campbell. Thad Baylor will be hoping for another caution here shortly. He's 1 lap down. The only car 1 lap down. And if we don't get a caution, then he's going to have to try and battle other lap down cars for position to try and get into the lucky dog spot. With him being firmly in the backpack, that's not going to be easy for him, because the cars that he's racing around are the cars that are going to go a lap down here within the next 20 laps. Less than 100 laps to go now. Lap 78 of 175. Christian Budd has started pulling away from Nate. Gap's just at a second and growing. Christian Budd consistently putting in the fastest lap for the lap. Fastest lap times compared to everyone else in the field on those particular laps is what I should say. Although this time it was Matt Horton who got the green box. Nate Moit with the fastest lap of the race so far, 15.317. As Ken Campbell makes the move stick on the 8 of Matt Horton. I think his tyres are starting to give up because he's stuck on the outside lane there. Mostly by his own choice. He's trying to bring it down, side drafting off the 99 a little bit. Just bounced off the wall ever so slightly coming out of turn 4. Now he's got a slot down in front of Austin Collins, but he's still continuing to run that higher line. Now it looks like that's going to be to his detriment, as Austin Collins is going to gain a position here very shortly. There's Jonas Marquez in the double O machine. And he's been showing a lot of pace here tonight as well. Unfortunately, it looks like his tyres starting to burn up. Now he falls down into the 9th position. Our leader, Christian Budd, almost back into lap traffic again. His first order of business will be Mark Pentacuff in the 5 machine. Thad Paylor has worked his way through all those cars at the back of the pack. As we reach the halfway point, that's 88 down, 87 to go. And just like that, 89 laps complete. And Campbell's showing some pace in the last couple of laps. He's had a couple of green boxes. He works his way to the outside of James Watson. He will make that move stick for the 6th position. Watson seemingly starting to struggle here a little bit. He might have caught the wall at some point, as he lets Tristan Health go by. My apologies. My drink went down the wrong hole. There's a 78 Brian Pesacami, as he's been charging up through the field. He's in P4 at the moment. Looks like he's under threat from a 9 of Joe Slama. He's also trying to attack that 29 of Nader Moit, as Greg Elliott has moved his way into 2nd. And this is what happens. I think you can stick with Christian Budd. You try your best to do it. Just burn up all your tyres at the end of it, as Christian Budd has put a lap down on several people. There's McDonald, Massier, Pape, Pentacuff, and Fadler has gone a 2nd lap down now. This is a busy little part of the track right now, as they caught up to the lap car of Pentacuff. He stays up high, allowing everyone through, but that also allowed Pesacami up into the 3rd position. Now bear in mind, Pesacami started 2nd last. He started in 19th. He is up into 3rd. No one who qualified has gained any positions, so that would automatically make Pesacami the hard charger. But that's just something to keep in mind as we go on through this race. Pesacami's trying to chase down Greg Elliott now. He pulled away from this pack a little bit. In fact, has gotten through the vast majority of the lap down cars. Andrew Griesbaum has gone a lap down recently, and he'll soon be under threat from the 07 machine. Avery McDonald is the next one on the list for Greg Elliott, though. Tristan Health has been methodically making his way through the field. He's just moved himself back up into the 5th position after getting turned on that first caution. Actually, no, it was the 2nd caution he got turned. Or was it the first? You know, it was the first caution. It was the one that involved Massier and McCoy. There's a 21 of Thad Baylor. Stays up high, allowing everyone through. 6 of Mitch Papers struggling with these tyres. He had a big wiggle coming out of turn 4. He's just putting himself up in the fence, trying to stay out of the way of all the lead lap cars. Christian Budd has found some more to put a lap down. He's just gotten around Jonas Marquez. Soon he'll be cracking into the top 10. Next on his list will be Matt Horton in the 8 car. And it looks like Mark Pentecoff has gone a second lap down as well. But not great here for Pentecoff and Baylor, being 2 laps down. They get a wave around, they'll only get 1 back unless Christian Budd is the one who crashes. This is a great old battle here between Collins, Amoit and McAnally. Just ahead of them is the 13 of Travis Masia, who is a lap down. Collins using him as a bit of a pick, trying to keep them behind. As help is on the back of Campbell. As they get around the 77 of McDonald. Oh, wow. Saw a massive change direction. Oh, that was Elliott in the 07. He's going to the pits. He got loose and then jagged it left in front of Pizzicami to bring it down pit lane. He's going to lose a lot of time from this. Brian Pizzicami now up into P2 because of that. He's more than half a lap behind the leader. About 2/3 of the track behind the leader, Christian Budd. Christian Budd absolutely dominating this race as we have a flurry of green flag stop activity. Mitch Papers come in the 6 car. Got another one coming in as well. That's the 5 of Pentecoff. I'm not sure whether this is tyres going off or whether it's a little bit of damage. But if this is a worldly undercut from the 07 of Elliott, then this could be great if Christian Budd does indeed need to make another stop. There's only 9 cars left on the lead lap. Check in on our leader. He's called another group of cars. There is the 29 of Amoit right in front of him. Mitch Pape just behind. He's 4 laps down after that pit stop. And he has a lot of pace over Christian Budd right now. But so too does Greg Elliott, as Masia has come in. Masia's coming at the wrong pit lane. He's in the back straight. There he is on the apron. I think he forgot we're doing dual pit lanes instead of single. Horton is in. Mitch Pape in the 6 is just harassing the back of our leader right now. trying to get one of his laps back. I think that was Slama that's just come in. Pizzacami has half a second over Mitch Campbell. Griesbaum also in the pits. Slama coming out of the pits. '74 Austin Collins, he's just trying to make ends meet here. Slama, who came out just behind the 15 machine, carving his way through the top 4 there. And he is pulling away like a bat out of hell. This is 21 Thad Faylor, just trying to stay out of the way on the apron. There are cars everywhere on this track. McCannelly is in. I didn't see who else was down there. It's Thad Faylor that's down there with him. Elliott just got one of his laps back. Someone's just come in on the back straight. I think that was Jonas Marquez. Now, it is very possible that he is on the back straight, but I don't think he is. Oh, it wasn't Jonas. Oh, it was Jonas with the wrong pit box. I think we're going to take disadvantage and go for a very quick commercial break. We'll be back in 60 seconds. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the Gladiator 88. We're coming up very shortly. Welcome back to the Gladiator 88 here from the Bristol Motor Speedway. And the battle is on for second between Pizzacami, Health and Campbell. They have a spoiler in the midst of it with the 68 of Griesbaum. But everyone's also migrated away from the bottom of the track. Comes Nate Amoy to get around them as well. Everyone's running mid-track or higher within the second, third and fourth positions. So Campbell makes a liar out of me this time around, going through 3 and 4. Also, Thad Paylor is out of the race. Pulled the pin and decided that that's enough. As these guys are also 3/4 of a lap behind the leader, Christian Budd. Tristan's going to try and do everything he can to try and take second place away from Pizzacemi. Pizzacemi is not an easy person to pass. He has a lot of pace. So it's going to be hard to affect the overtake on him. But Tristan is absolutely trying. Ghost Llama joining in on this little battle as well with his fresher tyres. And this could actually help out Brian here because it's preventing Tristan from using the full swing of the straightaways before the corner. So Tristan looking like he's got the advantage with the inside line here. McCannley joining in on this as well with his fresher tyres. Oh, Slama's going to make it 4 wide as McCannley got up the inside. Slama caught the fence big time. Avery McDonald's going to join in on that as well. Here comes Slama to the inside. This is not what these guys want to see. Oh, contact between Help and Pizzacemi. Pizzacemi just catching the fence there a little bit coming out of turn 4. And Tristan Help has taken over the second position. Pizzacemi needs to get back to the bottom of the track before Campbell fills it. And it's too late. Oh, this is almost contact. Luce got Pizzacemi from the contact. Campbell up into third. Pizzacemi just dealing with all this lap traffic now that's getting its laps back. He's not going to be able to mount a counter attack anytime soon. Don't even know if he's got the tyres to try and do that right now. As Austin Collins has gotten himself back onto the lead lap. And he is not far behind these guys. And there's almost 20 laps to go. In fact, it's 19 to go for our leader this time by. Sorry, 21 to go for our leader this time by. My math is not mathing. Tristan Health now struggling with this big pack of lap cars that came through before. They all get around him. Now we're on 20 to go. Christian Budd looks like he's just trying to lap the whole field. I imagine he's been trying to save tyre and fuel the entire run, as he's dealing with some lap traffic that's got a bit of pace on him. Elliott's unlapped himself. Collins has gone back to being a lap down. One thing that Christian Budd does not need right now is a caution. Not with almost a whole lap on the entire field. Comes Logan McCannley coming up behind as well. As he gets around Christian Budd, there will be 6 cars on the lead lap. There's Pizzacemi, as Elliott has gotten around Campbell and Pizzacemi. McCannley about to join suit. Pizzacemi down in P6, last car on the lead lap now. Hanley with these fresher tyres, just trouncing the rest of the field. James Watson is the fastest at the moment. The 5 of Pentacup, his tyres have started to go away already. He's struggling with all these other cars coming up with better speed. Oh, there was contact. 39 James Watson bounced off the fence, got into the front of Pizzacchemi. So they've recovered though. There's 10 laps to go. In fact, it'll be almost 9 laps to go this time, Bo. Oh, there's big contact between McDonald and Pentacup. They somehow managed to keep it going. Pizzacchemi's gone a lap down. Campbell's gone a lap down. 6 cars left on the lead lap once more. So people starting to get a little bit desperate here towards the end of the race. And Elliott has closed within 9 seconds. In fact, he's down to 8.5 seconds to the leader, Christian Budd. The one less stop strategy has worked for most, but you don't have the speed of Christian Budd. I just don't think it's going to work. Austin Collins trying to get to the back of Pizzacchemi. Pizzacchemi trying to get to the back of Ken Campbell. 4 laps left in this race. We're going to keep an eye on this battle for at least 3 of them. There's a 29 of Nader Moit in this as well. He's made it 3 wide. Oh, it's close quarters as they came off of the corner there. Campbell and Pizzacchemi now battling over 8th. They got Austin Collins there with them. It's 2 laps to go. We go back to looking at our leader now. He's coming out of turn 4. Going to be white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. But it's 17 of Christian Budd. And what can I say? He's just been an absolute dominant force almost every time he's hit the track. He comes out of turn 3 and 4 for the last time. Your winner of the Gladiator 88 from the last great Coliseum is going to be the 17 of Christian Budd. Greg Elliott on debut will get P2 with Logan McAnally coming home in 3rd. What an incredible race. And I guess we do have someone who qualified that's gained a position. That's James Watson. There's Budd, Elliott, McAnally, Slama, Watson, Help, Amoit, Pizzacchemi, Collins, Campbell. That is your top 10. As we look over the page, there's Horton, Griesbaum, Marquez, Pape, McDonald, Massier, Pentacup, Baylor, who was out, Rickard, who's in the pits with crash damage, and McCoy, who is out. You see Christian Budd doing his big old celebration, which was almost thwarted at that first caution. But we're going to go to a commercial break now. When we come back, we will have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, it is now time for our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award. And today's hard charger, it might only be a baby hard charger, but it's still a hard charger nonetheless. Starting from P6 and finishing in fifth, it is, of course, going to be the 39 of James Watson. James, baby hard charger once more with a one position gain, but according to the rules, it still fits.
Yeah, I'll take it. It was a tough race, a hard fought race. I happy to come away with the P5. I think that was the best I could have done. It's always a bit of a bummer because like Bristol is always one of my best tracks and one of my favorite tracks. So I always come in hoping to do a little better, but I'm satisfied with the P5, especially since I wasn't focused on saving tires as much as I usually am here, and it was kind of catching me out. Um, but I think it ended up being to my benefit because I wouldn't have because my original strategy was to just stay out and run it to the end. And once I realized how bad I was starting to wear the tires and the fact that I probably won't make it the whole way and pivoted to the pit strategy, I think that really ended up saving my bacon there.
Yeah, it was definitely a very interesting strategy there after the pit stop under caution. A few people choosing to stay out and run it to the end, but the majority of the field choosing to come in for green flag stops. So you said that you realized that you weren't going to be able to make it. So what was the decision then for when you were going to pit? Was it pretty much the next lap, or did you plan it out a little bit so you'd have the optimal tires for the end of the race?
Yeah, I kind of made the decision that I was going to be pitting at like lap 130, so I was going to try to go a few more laps to make it an even 40. In hindsight, that probably wasn't the way to go. I probably should have just brought it in like right then and there, give myself more time to work with, so I'm not driving too hard. And that kind of bit me at the end because I wasn't able to run down and pass Joe, even though I got right up to his bumper. So, but when it comes to a split second decision like that, there you can only get down on yourself so much for a situation like this because there's just no way to know, no way to plan it out, especially when your original strategy is in the completely opposite direction.
All right, so now let's just look as you're coming through the field there in that last run. How is the euphoria of having enough pace that you could overtake Christian Budd? I mean, it was just to get your lap back. He was on old tires, you're on new tires. But how does it feel that you got an overtake on Christian Budd?
Yeah, it's great. It feels like I'm like, oh, this must be what Christian feels like on the new tires and passing everybody.
All right, now let's look forward to next week. Going to be going to Las Vegas. So, what's the feeling like for you as we head to Sin City?
Not good. I've made mention of it many times. I'm not good at the mile and a halfs. I think maybe I can get a top 10 and a couple of stage points, but yeah, the likelihood that you're talking to me next week isn't super high.
All right, James, before you let you go here tonight, mate, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, gotta thank everyone at Team Watson Racing Setups. Use code Watsman39 for 10% off at checkout. Gotta thank National Racing Network, Inside Lane Productions, Icon Sim Racing Apparel, Boomer Butt Boxes, Binks Designs, ZAS Designs, and Dizzy V Designs for doing my paint schemes, and you for broadcasting it, Corey.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on coming home with a top five and a baby hard charger. And we look
Yeah.
forward to seeing what we can do next week when we go to Las Vegas.
Cheers, Corey.
All right, guys, that was your hard charger and your fifth place getter here tonight, the 39 of James Watson. Coming up next, we're going to have our third place getter, and it's great to have him back on track and looking good. It is, of course, the one of Logan McAnally. Logan, pit strategy was the pivotal point in this one with pitting under green versus trying to stay out. What was the strategy like for you? Were you always going to make that green flag stop, or were you just going to try your best to stick it out, but ultimately having to change plan?
I had trouble in traffic most of the night. The dirty air seemed like it killed the tires, and it got to a point where I was just falling off a cliff too much, and I just made the decision to pit. And if it gained me spots, it gave me spots. If I finished in the same spot that I pitted in, so be it.
Well, it definitely looked like it was an interesting call for most people to make. Of course, no one had the pace to try and catch back up to Christian Budd, but it was definitely worth a shot of giving it a try.
Oh yeah. I didn't think he was a second and a half behind me whenever I pit, and ended up. I think we finished 8 seconds behind him. So it ended up being a really good net gain. I think I was pitted from like eighth. Didn't think I was gonna get up to third. Honestly, didn't even know how many laps were left whenever I pit. I just pit because my tires were killed. So
I mean, that's always fair, pitting when the tires are dead. But what was it like just navigating that traffic? You said you were having issues. So what was it like when you were on those fresh tires, just navigating through everyone who were on much older tires than yourself?
I I truly thought that you were gonna be able to run the third lane here tonight. There is so much marbles up there, and your car just goes straight. You have to keep it to the middle or bottom. Um, it was very tricky if somebody was side by side on old tires because you had to wait till they figured it out. Um, but yeah, dirty air is a monster in these cars. I didn't think it would be, but I feel like I wouldn't say it's comparable to the next gen because that's the worst. Dirty air on the service, but um, yeah, it's pretty bad. It shoves the nose and God, kills the tires.
All right, well, let's look forward to next week. Going to be going to Las Vegas. So, what's the feeling like for you as we go from a short track with dirty air to a fairly decent mile and a half with a lot more dirty air?
Um, wasn't did we run Vegas for the test race at the start of the season?
I think we did, yes.
Okay, I think that was pretty fun. I really can't remember, but um, it's just gonna be save tires and try to get out of the people's dirty air in front of you. Hopefully, we can run more than just the bottom there.
All right, now before we let you go here tonight, Logan, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Everybody that puts on the league, you for broadcasting, everybody that shows up, and for Bass Pro Shops being on the car every week.
All
And
right.
that's about it.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on coming home with P3. And we look forward to seeing what we can do next week in Sin City.
See y'all next week.
All right, guys, that was our third place getter here tonight. The one of Logan McAnally, and he's already dipped from the voice channel. He was keen to go. Coming up next, we're going to have our debutante for here tonight. It is the '07 of Greg Elliott. Oh my god. Discord soundboards are going to be the death of me, I swear. But Greg, welcome to the Output Racing League, and congratulations for coming home P2 on debut.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
What was the racing like for you here tonight? A little bit difficult with the way the dirty air affects these cars, and ultimately pitting there under green definitely helped you out for the end of this run. Even though early in the run you were probably one of the people that I would have picked to have mixed it up with Christian.
Yeah, tire wear was a weird game to play, and he played it right. The rest of us didn't. Uh, the the tires, they felt like they had all the grip in the world, and then all of a sudden they didn't. So I learned that on the first run whenever I was trying to keep up with him, and I was able to, stay right close to him, keep him honest. But whenever the caution came out and put on tires, I could see then already after 44 laps, I'd already chewed off the right front. It was like 82% after 44 laps, and that's pretty aggressive tire wear there. So from then on, you'll notice that I just kind of backed off and leisurely rolled around, trying to maintain pace, and it worked pretty well. I thought the strategy for pitting was going to be pretty universal. I didn't expect him to stay out, but once I did pit and got 3 laps down, or 2 laps down rather, I started to think, okay, even if I got my laps back, could I make it around one more time to get him? And I don't think that I can. There's not enough laps, and sure enough, that was the case. But I'm excited for P2 on my first race here.
I mean, you definitely gave it the old college try, as you said, working your way through the field twice, and you almost got to him. I think you, at the end of the race, were within 6 seconds of him there towards the end. So, absolute stellar effort on your first race here with a bunch of guys that you don't know too much, but you definitely put in the hard yards to have a good showing tonight.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for all your work on the broadcast.
Well, thank you very much. But before we let you go, anyone else you want to give a quick shout out to?
I'd like to thank everyone who's running this show over here, the league. They seem to be doing a pretty good job. There's a lot of respectful drivers here. I'm excited to kind of step into the competition that I've seen broadcasted on YouTube. And shout out to the 77 car, who is the person who let me know about this.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out. Big shout out there to Avery McDonald. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we go and tackle Las Vegas.
I'll see you there.
All right, guys. That was our debutant coming in P2 on debut, the 07 of Greg Elliott. Coming up next, we have the most dominant force in all of Output Racing League history. He's the cog, he is the alien, he is the 17 of Christian Budd. Christian, what a wild strategy, staying out, nearly lapping the entire field, and just about coming up short there towards the end with all those fresh tires coming. I reckon 20 more laps. You might have been in a bit of trouble.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess like realistically, from a speed perspective, probably pitting was the right call. I think by the time everybody had made the stop though, and a time that I realized, well, maybe I should have pit, it's kind of too late. I would have given up way too much time to come in. So I was like, well, all right, well, we're just gonna stay out. I know I can make it on fuel. Hopefully the tires don't blow out, and just kept running laps. One thing with this car is like the tire wear. The laps just really plateau, and you can run the same lap time for a really, really long time before they start to clip off. So I felt like them pitting, they would have an advantage for a while, but eventually we'd kind of even out. And I think we probably did a little bit, but maybe a little less than I hoped. It was kind of tough too. There's a lot of lap traffic and a lot of cars trying to pass me that was affecting my lap time. So, but it worked out. Still won the race, so that was the important thing.
Yeah, what was it like trying to balance out that whole getting around lap cars while other lap cars are trying to get around you? Because I can't imagine that's too easy to try and deal with, especially, with the amount of lead that you had and, the age of your tires as they were getting along in the run.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, everybody was real respectful to me, so it wasn't like they were racing me too hard. Maybe a couple guys were racing me a little bit more, but for the most part, if I caught them, they they would leave me the bottom, and I could just kind of get on by. And then, the nice thing about this version of Bristol is if you're on fresh tires, I think there was somebody, I can't remember who it was kind of like sitting behind me for a little bit, and I kept running bottom because I was like, this is where I need to run to make time. I didn't want to give up extra time. And he kind of just stuck behind me for a while, and then eventually he just pulled the top and drove right around me. So I just think he didn't realize, like, yeah, I could probably just drive around you all the time. But the top on fresh tires is fine to pass a slow car. So, um, but I mean, I don't know. The one thing I guess that to me about it is that the car is it's just really easy to drive. So even being out there on old tires, it's not like you're really battling handling issue. You're just kind of driving, and um, so I was never in like any danger. Um, really, it just the main thing I didn't want to have happen was a caution at the end after some of the guys that got back on the lead lap, because then I felt, well, they could stay out now and I'd have to pit, and
Yep.
um, that was my main concern. But fortunately, everybody kept it clean at the end.
Now, speaking of danger, you were definitely in a little bit of danger here tonight with that first caution. What was it like, having that crash unfold directly in front of you and just trying to dodge it the best you could?
Uh, yeah, I didn't expect it, for one thing. Like, you're always kind of nervous as you catch the back of the field, especially the first time, because at that point, everybody back there is still thinking, hey, I want to stay on the lead lap. I don't want to go a lap down early and things. So I figured they would start racing kind of hard, but I didn't really see exactly what happened. But something caused, I think, Thad to check up, and then, I think Travis maybe got into him and spun him out. And I didn't dodge it. I ran into him, but fortunately, I just didn't get any damage. So uh, I thought I thought I would have some, but it was a light enough tap that they kind of just bounced off my nose. So it's one of those things at Bristol. You're always like a little nervous about, stuff like that. And it's really hard to see, especially, if something happens on the exit of the corner and you're entering, you can't see it, so it's just part of this kind of style of racing.
Yeah, it would definitely look like it was a lot of fun though being out there. But let's look forward to next week though. Going to be going to Las Vegas. So what's the feeling like for you as we head to the middle of the desert?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends on, the setup and everything. I've driven this car on a few intermediates, and even tonight the aero effects are so strong. I mean, the leader has such an advantage. So I feel like there, if you qualify up front, you can get out in the lead. If you can keep the lead, you're probably going to win a race. To be honest, there's a little bit of aero griefing that can go on. Especially on restarts, if you're behind somebody, you can get them loose and things. So that'll be an interesting factor. It'd be interesting to see if the setup gets loose on the front stretch too. That's another thing with this car. Like, people are spinning out on the straightaway because it kind of unloads in a weird way.
Yep.
So that'll be something. But overall, I mean, I hate to say it, this car just kind of, to me, has been real lackluster. It's just not quite what I thought it would be. So intermediates, we'll see, I guess. Hopefully it's fun.
All right. Well, before we let you go here tonight, Christian, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, just everybody here at Output for putting the league on. Everybody who raced hard and clean tonight, was a lot of fun. Always fun to race with this group. If anybody's watching and says, hey, I'd like to join a league, it's a good one to join. A lot of clean racers in here, but they still race really hard. You, of course, are putting on the broadcast, and then shout out to the Winstall guys who are prepping up for the end of this 2005 season we got going, and been doing a lot of hard work because next year we're going to do 2007 with the old Gen 4 and the COT, so it should be a lot of fun.
That's right. If you guys want to catch more of Christian Bud, you can see him this Sunday night at about 8 p.m. EST. And we'll be tackling, is it Texas this week?
Yep, we're going to be at Old Texas.
There you go. Old Texas this week for Winstall, 8 p.m. on Sunday night on the ABN Studios Twitch channel. So, Christian, thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on another fantastic win. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week here at Las Vegas.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that was the 17, the COG Christian Bud. But that is going to wrap things up for us here tonight. Thank you all so much for coming out. What a race we had. Only 2 cautions at Bristol in 175 laps is almost unheard of on iRacing. But until next week, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys in Sin City.